It's called defense. It's in the dictionary under D-E-F-E-N-S-E. I may be wrong, but I doubt it. I may be wrong, but I doubt it. I may be wrong, but I doubt it. No dancing, no hugging.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Here's the Deal. Now, on today's episode, I wasn't going to do this video for a while, but I keep seeing a lot of reactions and a lot of people talking, a lot of gripes going back and forth about, everybody's favorite debate these days, and that's LeBron James versus Michael Jordan. Who's better? Now, I just wanted to put a couple things in perspective, give you my opinions. As always, feel free to let me know what you think. Put it in the comments, let me know how you feel. I didn't pull up no stats, no nothing, just straight, what I know off my head. And since I've been watching LeBron, so I basically watched him all my life, I have a pretty good understanding of what I think is really the deal when it comes to comparing these two greats. So with that being said, first let me start out by saying that LeBron James is definitely the best player in the NBA. There's no disagreeing with that. His accomplishments speak on their own, and the same goes for Michael Jordan. But I think what people are failing to realize in this day and age as they debate on whether LeBron's better or Jordan's better is that these guys aren't even, to me, they're not even in the same lane. Now, when I say they're not in the same lane, what I mean by that is simply they're not the same type of player. So it's hard to immediately assume, this guy's better than this guy because he does this when they're two different types of players. Now, getting on LeBron James is essentially a point guard in a small forward's body. 6'8", freight train, can pass the ball, has some of the best vision in the league that we've seen. Everybody's noticed that since he's entered the league, one of the best passers in the league. And when you talk about a guy like Michael Jordan, a little bit shorter, 6'6", scoring machine anywhere, willing the basket into the goal, footwork, mid-range, all of that. And that's what I think people are failing to realize, that these two guys aren't even the same type of player. For instance, like at the end of the game with 5 seconds left, LeBron's gonna make the right basketball play, whether that be him shooting the ball or him passing the ball to the open man. Now, don't get me wrong, Jordan has definitely passed the ball to the open man in some of his previous games, but we all know that Jordan knew he was the best player on the game and knew that he was taking that last shot. LeBron doesn't mind passing that ball up, and passing to a Darren Williams or giving the ball to a Kyrie Irving, knowing that Kyrie Irving is a better ISO ball player than him. And that's where I feel like people are misinterpreting what types of player these are. LeBron James, to me, is more comparable to a Magic Johnson, a scoring Magic Johnson. And let me explain that. Both Magic and LeBron were 6'8" physical freaks playing point guard at their position. And they were both great defenders, able to guard every position on the court. And they both had that vision, that vision that doesn't come around every so often. So I think we need to stop looking at this comparison from LeBron to Jordan and start comparing LeBron to the likes of Magic Johnson. Imagine if Magic Johnson wanted to score as much as he passed. His stats would probably be comparable to LeBron James's. Same thing with LeBron and vice versa. Imagine if LeBron wanted to pass as much as he wanted to score as well. And you also got to take in consideration this, people say that LeBron, especially Nick Wright from FS1, and I really like Nick Wright. Sometimes he goes a little off board, but the other day I'm watching a video and he's saying, LeBron's a better mid-range shooter. He had a higher percentage. Okay, Nick Wright, well, I challenge you to this. What kind of shots are LeBron taking in comparison to Jordan? Jordan was taking primarily fadeaway, mid-range jumpers, all types of that. LeBron literally barrels to the goal and he gets layups 95% of the time. As I was watching the Celtics game the other night, someone posted a video of him scoring on Kelly Olynyk saying, wow, he's the GOAT. And I'm thinking to myself, man, with the rules changed today, you don't know how many points Jordan could have averaged in this era. You don't know what that differential gap would have been, and vice versa. Let's put LeBron back in the heyday where you could hand check, where they had comparable defenders, i.e. Dennis Rodman, i.e. Charles Oakley, who could put your hands on you, who could steer you this way and that way. A Scottie Pippen. Would LeBron be as effective? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he wouldn't be as effective, but I feel like his stats would be affected to a certain extent because defense was played differently back then. So then when you look at how defense was being played back then and you see Jordan's stats, I think that you should be able to respect it more, thinking, wow, these guys were able to do anything they wanted basically back in the 90s. And nowadays you can't touch anybody. You can't touch anybody, excuse me. That's why guards like a 5'6" Isaiah Thomas can average 29 points a game. You can't touch him. You can't fight through the screens like you used to be able to do. So with saying that, I mean, I think people who are saying LeBron is the greatest of all time, I think it's a little premature to go ahead and elevate him to that level. Because when you talk about championships, let's talk about that for a minute. Michael Jordan was 6-0 in his championships, right? Now, I know that the years before he lost, he got swept in the first round plenty of times. But when all the chips were on the table, when it was time to win a championship, Michael Jordan is 6-0, and he never had a meltdown like LeBron did in the 2011 series versus the Mavericks, and I think that series has plagued LeBron's career for a while now. And I think it's going to take at least LeBron winning about 5 championships before I can elevate him over LeBron James. I think it's going to take at least 5 championships for me to elevate LeBron James over Michael Jordan. And I know a lot of you guys are going to find some gripes with that and say, look at his consistent stats over time. And don't get me wrong, LeBron James to me is the most consistent greatest superstar we've ever seen. Just consistency wise, year in, year out, he is the best. But that doesn't mean he's the best of all time. Because when all the chips are on the table, LeBron right now could be, what's his record? 3-4 in the finals. I mean, come on, imagine if he was undefeated in the finals. Then we would have something to talk about. But as of right now, I don't see that. I don't see how you can elevate LeBron above Jordan yet. Yes, his stats are better, but look how the rules have changed. The rules favor that. The rules favor not being able to touch LeBron. LeBron can get to the rack because basically he's bigger and stronger than everybody in the league. LeBron can get to the rack at will. Back in the day, you weren't getting to the rack like that. Even the biggest and the baddest players back then, they had some defensive monsters they had to deal with. You didn't have Rodman out there putting you on your ass every time you came to the rack. So I think what people need to do is slow down. We already know LeBron is already going to be, when it's all said and done, in that top 4, top 3 talks, maybe even the best. But as of right now, you cannot put this man ahead of Jordan yet. You just can't. Could you imagine if Jordan melted down in the finals like in 2011 against the Mavericks? Who was guarding LeBron in the 2011 series? Do you guys know? On the Mavericks, I can't even think of who could physically impose that will on LeBron. So to me, guys, I think we just need to slow down, like I said, and just let him play out his career. Let's see what happens. Let's see if he can beat this super team he's going against. Now, I know Jordan never had to deal with a super team. A lot of people talk about his competition. He went against Charles Barkley and the Suns and Gary Payton and Sean Kemp and the Sonics, things of that nature. But let's see what he does against this super team. Because like I said, once again, when the chips were all on the line, Jordan never backed down from that, and that's why he's 6-0. And a lot of people want to go to the rings conversation, and what they'll probably dispute me and say is, oh, well, Bill Russell has 11 rings. Shouldn't he be the GOAT? Well, no, that doesn't make him the GOAT. That makes him part of one of the best franchises of all time. Robert Horry has a lot of rings. I can't think of the number right now, but we don't consider him that. I'll put it to you like this. I believe that Wilt Chamberlain was a better offensive player than Bill Russell. But Bill Russell was a better defender, and he definitely had a better team, which led to those 11 championships. So those are some of the things you kind of keep in mind. Like, you got to keep those things in perspective. And like I said earlier, I think we need to start comparing LeBron James to Magic Johnson, the way they play the game, the way they run the court, because everybody knows LeBron is the point guard of the Cavaliers. It's not Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving's their closer. And then when we talk about Jordan, let's talk about guys that played like Jordan, that killer instinct. Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson, I would put in that kind of Jordan kind of category, even though he played quote unquote point guard, then switching to shooting guard. But I would put Allen Iverson in that. Carmelo Anthony, to a lesser degree, he's nowhere near as successful at all. Doesn't play the defense that Jordan and Kobe definitely played. But just that when the game's on the line, them guys want the ball in their hand and they're gonna go for it. And I've seen LeBron James hit game winners, don't get me wrong. Sometimes, it's time to step up being the best man on that team. But we know that in the back of his mind, LeBron James is always looking for that pass, trying to make that best basketball play. He even said it in the Indiana Pacer series when Paul George passed that ball to CJ Miles. He said that was the right basketball play. I would have done the same thing, and I actually believed him. I believed what he was saying. I don't believe he was trolling Paul George. I believe that in that situation, if he felt like someone else had a better shot to him, he would pass that up. And I know Jordan did that at times too, but you guys have got to understand the difference I'm trying to make here when it comes to comparing these two greats. Now, when it's all said and done, we'll see who has more championships. We'll see the records, we'll see the stats, and we can compare it. But as of right now, I feel like Jordan should still be considered over LeBron James as of right now. But that's all I got today, guys. This was kind of weighing heavy on my mind. I was reading a lot of back and forths about it. So feel free to comment. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if I'm an idiot. I don't care. I enjoy doing this with you guys. And go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube page. And oh yeah, don't forget to send me comparisons and ideas and things you want to hear. I'll tackle anything, NBA or NFL. I don't mind. And I hope you guys have a great one.